A grieving millionaire father takes his blind daughter to the zoo, but a black nanny alters their destiny. The camera pans across a bustling zoo, with children's laughter echoing in the background. A wealthy, widowed father, desperately trying to connect with his blind daughter, arrives with her at the zoo. As the father struggles with the overwhelming task of making the visit enjoyable, they encounter a warm and confident black nanny who works there. Their worlds collide. But will this encounter change their lives forever? Stay tuned to see how a simple moment shifts everything. What happens next will leave you questioning the boundaries of kindness, privilege, and fate. The father, John. A once successful businessman, now a grieving widower, doing his best to raise his blind daughter after his wife's death. Despite his wealth, his emotional pain and lack of connection with his daughter are evident. The daughter, Ella. A bright, beautiful blind girl of about 8 who is yearning for her father's attention but struggles to connect with him. The nanny, Amina. A black woman in her mid-30s working as a zoo nanny whose kindness and emotional intelligence make her beloved by the children she cares for. A well-known zoo in a wealthy suburban area, often frequented by families from all walks of life. The story begins on a sunny afternoon when the zoo is buzzing with activity. The father and daughter are struggling to navigate the space. John is distracted and stressed, trying to help Ella experience the zoo despite her blindness. Ella's frustrations are mounting because her father is emotionally unavailable. As they walk through the zoo, Ella expresses excitement about the sounds around her, but John seems lost in his thoughts, barely responding. At this moment, Amina, a black nanny, appears in the background, confidently guiding a group of children past them. She notices the father's disorientation and the daughter's visible disappointment. Amina approaches John and offers her assistance, recognizing Ella's struggle. She takes the time to describe the zoo sounds and animals in vivid detail for Ella, making her experience more meaningful. John, still emotionally detached, is hesitant at first, but reluctantly agrees for Ella's sake. Amina guides them through the zoo, describing the animals in such rich detail that Ella begins to feel a sense of belonging and excitement. Slowly, Ella starts to open up, and John starts to notice the bond forming between his daughter and the nanny. The atmosphere shifts as Amina, while helping the father and daughter, is met with subtle judgment from other zoo-goers, particularly a group of well-dressed white families who stare at her. The father, uncomfortable with the scrutiny, tries to brush it off, but can't ignore the slight glances. Amina remains poised and professional, but the tension is palpable. Meanwhile, John's internal struggles with grief become clearer. He is overwhelmed, trying to maintain his image for the sake of his daughter. Still, in doing so, he has neglected her emotional needs. His growing discomfort with Amina's presence is a mix of guilt and embarrassment, despite her genuine care for Ella. Amina, seeing John's discomfort, offers her own life story to explain the kindness she shows to Ella. She briefly speaks of growing up in a rough neighborhood, the challenges she faced, and how compassion and empathy guided her throughout her life. This personal revelation strikes a chord with John, who is reminded of the value of humility and humanity, things he had lost sight of in his own grief. While at the zoo's lion exhibit, the father finally opens up about his wife's passing, admitting how he feels lost and disconnected. He realizes that he has been treating Ella as a burden rather than a blessing, pushing her away because he couldn't deal with the pain. Meanwhile, Amina notices a young boy from the group she was guiding earlier, playing roughly with Ella. She intervenes, stepping in to protect Ella from the situation. The boy's parents, noticing Amina's interference, scold her, assuming she doesn't know her place as a nanny. The moment is intense, and Amina stands her ground, advocating for Ella's safety and dignity. John steps forward, now fully aware of the injustice that has unfolded before him. He quietly asks the boy's parents to leave, standing up for Amina and, more importantly, for his daughter. The moment is charged with emotion and a sense of pride, as John finally sees the value of compassion over privilege. The encounter opens John's eyes to the stark realities of race and class, and his relationship with Ella begins to undergo a transformation. He thanks Amina for her care, understanding, and strength. As the day winds down, John and Ella sit on a bench, talking openly for the first time in a long while. He acknowledges his faults as a father and begins to promise himself he will be more present in her life. Amina's presence in their lives remains a subtle yet powerful force. John reaches out to her, acknowledging that her role in Ella's life is vital, not just as a nanny, but as a teacher of empathy and understanding. The story concludes with a scene of John and Ella leaving the zoo, walking hand in hand. John reflects on how his perception of race, class, and privilege has been altered by one encounter with a woman who saw beyond his wealth and status. He understands that actual change begins within, and it's a lesson he will carry forward. Sometimes it takes a stranger to show us the way back to our own humanity. Are we truly seeing each other for who we are?